Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Carrying on with the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, we had reached the point where the brothers don't know that Yusuf alayhi salam is in charge, and Binyamin has just been accused of stealing, and they don't know what to do because they've promised their father to bring him home. Allah Jalla wa Ala says, فَلَمَّا اسْتَيْأَسُوا مِنْهُ خَلَصُوا نَجِيًّا. When they lost hope in arguing, debating, reasoning with the one who was in charge, Yusuf alayhi salam, in order to let Binyamin go, then they secluded themselves. They gathered by themselves and they start talking. قَالَ كَبِيرُهُمْ أَلَمْ تَعْلَمُوا أَنَّ أَبَاكُمْ قَدْ أَخَذَ عَلَيْكُمْ مَوْثِقًا مِّنَ اللَّهِ. The older one reminds them. He says, do you not remember? Do you not know that you took a covenant by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Covenant about what? That you would bring Binyamin home. Not only that, وَمِن قَبْلُ مَا فَرَّطْتُمْ فِي يُوسُفَ. And remember how you had total disregard. You were careless when it came to Yusuf alayhi salam. You showed ignorance. How is anybody going to believe us? So he says, فَلَنْ أَبْرَحَ الْأَرْضَ حَتَّى يَأْذَنَ لِي أَبِي. I will never leave this land, i.e. Egypt, until my father permits me. Or أَوْ يَحْكُمَ اللَّهُ لِي. Or Allah Jalla wa Ala rules for me, either by death or He makes some sort of opening for me. وَهُوَ خَيْرُ الْحَاكِمِينَ. And He is the best who judges. Notice how, because they were not truthful when it came to Yusuf alayhi salam, now here, even though what happened was not due to them, they unable to go and face their father. He then says, "Irji'u ila abikum, return to your father. فَقُولُوا يَا أَبَانَا إِنَّ ابْنَكَ سَرَقَ. Say, oh our father, indeed your son has stolen. That's the reason why he's remaining behind. إِنَّ ابْنَكَ سَرَقَ. وَمَا شَهِدْنَا إِلَّا بِمَا عَلِمْنَا وَمَا كُنَّا لِلْغَيْبِ حَافِظِينَ. And we only bear witness with that which we know. And we unable to protect the unseen. He stole and we did not know. We were unable to do anything. And if you don't believe us, وَاسْأَلِ الْقَرْيَةَ الَّتِي كُنَّا فِيهَا وَالْعِيرَ الَّتِي أَقْبَلْنَا فِيهَا. You can ask the people of the city. Ask those in the city. Not only that, ask those who came with us on the caravan. They know about this news. It's not only us. وَإِنَّا لَصَادِقُونَ. And indeed we are truthful. Notice how, because they had lied when it came to Yusuf alayhi salam, they themselves know that nobody is going to believe them. Similarly, if a person carries on lying, carries on calling wolf, how does he expect to be believed in society? And it happens such that if you've lied once, you are then tested with this instance, another instance coming true, and you meant to tell the people and nobody's going to believe you. So we've got to be very careful, and we've got to avoid lies and deception at all costs. Also, notice how, because we know the story, we know that Binyamin didn't steal. For them, apparently, the sequence of events all add up. Hence, he stole. Similarly, at times we may hear of certain things in our communities or online, and the sequence of events apparently seem that this person has committed a crime or they are guilty, and because we do not have further knowledge of what's actually gone on, these people are actually innocent and we may be accusing them for something that they did not do. Yaqub alayhi salam, after hearing the news, he says, قَالَ بَلْ سَوَّلَتْ لَكُمْ أَنفُسُكُمْ أَمْرًا. This is something that you yourselves have made up. He can't believe it. فَصَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ. And I will maintain beautiful patience. Some of the scholars mention صَبْرٌ جَمِيلٌ is when a person is patient and they only complain to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They make dua to Him alone. عَسَى اللَّهُ أَن يَأْتِيَنِي بِهِمْ جَمِيعًا. Indeed, He will bring them all back to me, Yusuf as well as his brothers. إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْعَلِيمُ الْحَكِيمُ. Indeed, He is the most knowledgeable, the wise. Look at how Yaqub alayhi salam, even though he's going through this difficulty and this grief, and he himself is sad, He's still attached to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He still has hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's still calling out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Innahu huwa al-alimul hakim. And he believes that Allah is the most knowledgeable, the most wise. He knows why this is going on. Allah then says, وَتَوَلَّى عَنْهُمْ, and he turned away from them. وَقَالَ يَا أَسَفَ عَلَى يُوسُف, and he says, oh grievance, sadness over Yusuf. Ya asafa ala Yusuf. And Allah Jalla wa ala makes mention of his physical condition. وَبِيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ فَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. His eyes became white. Some of the scholars mentioned due to a lot of crying, he was unable to see. And he was filled with sadness. And this is human nature. Yaqub alayhi salam, the best person at the time, the closest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yet he is going through such a difficult test. And similarly, you may decide to become practicing. And Allah Jalla wa ala tests you. And he tests you again. And the test becomes even more difficult. Remember Yaqub alayhi salam. Remember how he remained somebody calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's normal to feel some sort of sadness, some sort of unease. However, have that conviction and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. His children around him, they say, قَالُوا تَاللَّهِ تَفْتَأُ تَذْكُرُ يُوسُف. By Allah, you are going to carry on remembering Yusuf. تَفْتَأُ تَذْكُرُ يُوسُف حَتَّى تَكُونَ حَرَضًا أَوْ تَكُونَ مِنَ الْهَالِكِينَ. Until you've become sick, until you've become weak. Some of the scholars mention until you've lost your mind, and even this has led to physical death, i.e., it's enough. Forget about Yusuf. And Yaqub alayhi salam says, قَالَ إِنَّمَا أَشْكُو بَثِّي وَحُزْنِي إِلَى اللَّهِ. I'm complaining to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My sadness, whatever I'm grieving over, I'm only calling out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm complaining and asking Him. I'm not telling you. I'm not complaining to you. أشكو بثي وحزني إلى الله وأعلم من الله ما لا تعلمون. And I have knowledge. I know that which you do not know. He was a Nabi. He could interpret dreams. He knew the interpretation of the dream of Yusuf alayhi salam. It had to come true. Yaqub alayhi salam, even though he's going through this hardship and this grief, and his physical condition is what Allah Jalla wa ala described to us, he still manages to pick himself up. And he tells his children, يَا بَنِي يَذْهَبُوا فَتَحَسَّسُوا مِن يُوسُفَ وَأَخِيهِ. Oh my children, go and search for Yusuf and his brothers. وَلَا تَيْأَسُوا مِن رَوْحِ اللَّهِ. And don't lose hope in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't lose hope in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. إِنَّهُ لَا يَيْأَسُ مِن رَوْحِ اللَّهِ إِلَّا الْقَوْمُ الْكَافِرُونَ. Indeed, nobody loses hope in the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala except those who don't believe in Him, those who reject, those who are ungrateful. Look at how he's still full of hope, and he is instilling hope in the other brothers. He believes that Allah Jalla wa ala is going to open the way for him. Inshallah, in the next episode, we'll see how the brothers return to Egypt looking for Yusuf and his brothers. We ask Allah Jalla wa ala to grant us goodness and beneficial knowledge. Ameen.